I'm Stephanie Hush, and I grew up in Marietta, Georgia, and I'm a PA, physician assistant with craniofacial and plastic surgery at the local children's hospital. I've always enjoyed yard work, grew up doing yard work every weekend with my dad, and that has held true to this day. We both enjoy being outside, and this is my boyfriend Dustin. We've been together since end of January. We just had our 2-year anniversary.
She said, my name's Dustin Aguilar. I'm from San Antonio, Texas. Lived in Austin for a few years before moving to Atlanta for work. Currently, I'm in medical sales with a company called 3M. Was able to meet this lovely lady back in 2022, and it's been going strong ever since. So very lucky.
Georgia Bulldogs or?
Well, he is now.
By association.
I went to UGA for undergrad, and he has, definitely become a Georgia Bulldog fan for sure.
I love the culture, for sure. Flash.
Flash.
Maybe Flash, so you could zip on through lots of yards.
Strong, and you can trim hedges with your laser eye vision. So, I mean, that's
You're
easy. But if you want to go more complex, I guess you could say maybe a superpower of telekinesis, so you know that your customer is satisfied.
Nice.
Maybe that's
perfect. Yeah. So I can't remember the exact day. It was either end of 2021 or beginning of 2022. Definitely during the pandemic. Was just driving in the car, listening to a local radio station, and there was a plug for the organization, and I just thought, wow, I enjoy doing yard work for my own yard, and I was wanting to get more involved in the community, and just wanting some way to help other than the normal health, I guess, healthcare. I'm in healthcare, so I was already kind of helping, but some other way, more of the forgotten population, if you will, that isn't focused just on the pandemic and the medical aspect of that. So yeah, I think I filled out a form online and got connected with you. That's how I got involved.
Well, actually, she loves doing it. So, I mean, she's the one that got me into this foundation, and it's been amazing being able to help out, and not only that, but just meet the people. I mean, that I'm very much a people person myself, so being able to meet people and get to know their story and then help out is that much more fulfilling.
Really do enjoy it. I, kind of like the instant gratification of seeing all your work that you've completed. And then, like Dustin mentioned, the personal aspect of it, seeing how much these people really do appreciate what you're doing, and knowing that they physically can't and perhaps financially can't continue their normal regimen in their yard. I do feel like I can see and feel the direct impact from this. So that really acts as the main motivation. It can be hard sometimes, especially in, the dead of summer in Georgia, and it is hot, and you're either doing it in the morning or I guess the evening. And in the morning, the grass is still dewy. Sometimes it's very humid here. We have to navigate around some summer storms. So it can be tough after a long week of work, which is also physically demanding for me to do this, but they're close enough that once we kind of get moving and get going, we're happy to be there, happy to do it, and glad that we did, for sure.
Answer. That's it. That's perfect. That's exactly correct.
Yeah, so it was for Mr. Ben Brown down in College Park. It could be 45 minutes, sometimes an hour drive, kind of near the airport. He was an Army vet. He had lived in that house, raised his kids in that house. His wife had passed away, I think 5 or so years ago, and he is an elderly gentleman, just no longer to physically continue. He had an old mower, sitting in the backyard that was, rusted and old. So he definitely had a past of doing it himself. He just could not maintain it anymore. And some of his relatives reached out, I believe, to get us connected. And yeah, we did a lot more than just mowing. There was a lot of weeding, cutting down branches that were, hanging out. Oh yeah, the hedges. I mean, his staircase up to his front door, overgrown with ivy, weed killing situation. And that's not just the front yard. The backyard, we also kind of mowed. We unearthed kind of a concrete little pad there that I think he used to maybe sit out on, moving large branches from fallen trees around, getting things out of the gutters. I mean, it was big projects for sure there. We spent many hours each time we went since it was so far, just to kind of get ahead of things.
Yeah.
Meredith White, he was the second. But yeah, that was him. That was Meredith. He needed kind of specific projects done. Code enforcement had, people had called code enforcement for kind of overgrown area. He was disabled. So he had very particular tasks that he needed us to do. I feel like I was pretty comfortable with the standard tasks of things. I got more comfortable with a gas mower when I always have my battery one, and I guess Mr. Maddox, one of our, I guess, main clients, he has a gas, and so we'll split up and do a yard, backyard versus front yard. So it had just been a while since I had used anything gas powered. So that was kind of just a refresher on that. Other than that, I can't think of anything major other than some wildlife encounters that I wasn't expecting and don't have a lot of experience with, like snakes and things like that.
Oh,
There was a hornet's nest too in the ground.
Oh yeah. Yep, I did get stung by a hornet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh man, glad you're not allergic.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not allergic.
Okay.
Besides just growing up and mowing the lawn a few times, my parents as chores, tell you one thing that this has taught me. It's taught me patience, because some of these projects are massive. Remember the Ben Brown one, the first one we ever did together, was big for sure. That one, but the one that was more taxing than anything was Mr. Meredith's.
Oh yeah.
The code enforcement thing, I mean, we were there for 5 hours, I think.
At least, yeah.
5 hours, and it was basically just trimming up the sidewalk, monkey grass, weeds, all that stuff
They were
right
like
there.
prickly vines of
Right.
different varieties.
And then on top of that, over the street was overlaying branches from trees. And that was a code enforcement complaint that people had called about. So getting our big tree cutter and getting up there and for hours just cutting down branches. Again, super taxing, but at the end of the day, seeing the his
Oh my
light
God, it was
and
night,
his
and it was night and day, just visually.
oh my
like,
gosh.
people would walk by and who were just, on their Saturday morning walk or whatnot and be like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
like, this looks amazing, not to say that they were the ones that complained, but they just saw the very stark change from how it was the day before on their walk.
And then just seeing Mr. White's appreciation,
Oh, yeah.
5 hours of work, and he wanted to pay us so bad. He was like,
Mhm.
can I please pay? He's like, no, we're not taking money. This is out of just taking care of you and out of the kindness of our heart. So that was, again, super fulfilling. And
Sure. Yeah. So definitely a couple. For Meredith White, I believe he was
designer.
like an interior designer in New York City in his past life, and lived in I think like a swanky apartment and everything like that, and did some contracting with some major department stores. So that was cool just to hear about kind of his very unique industry history. And then Mr. Maddox, Jerry Maddox, he was in the Marines, stationed at Camp Lejeune, and he is now battling bladder cancer from that. So it was interesting to hear kind of his history on that. He also has a fascination with Scotland. His ancestors are from Scotland, and I happened to go there last year to do the West Highland Way, and he was like a child. I mean, he was so excited. He's actually written books.
He gave you a book.
He gave me a book.
Yeah.
He signed it. He printed out his biography for me. He was very
Can you-
excited. Yeah, for sure. He sent me he gets a monthly Scotland magazine and he was like, you'll really enjoy these pictures. He had a very interesting life. He's really into genealogy. He been in the Dunwoody community for a long time. I think since the 70s, he and his wife. And yeah, so he had a lot to share for sure. There's so many. I mean, I guess one of the first ones that really made an impact was Mr. Brown. He's an elderly gentleman. It's in the middle of COVID, and he doesn't very mobile, but he definitely wanted to come out and meet us, show his appreciation. So I just remember him, coming out very slowly, with a mask on and just being so appreciative of everything. So that was really uplifting and motivating to know, how much we had an impact on him. I don't know. Can you think of any like really specific things?
My one, I mean, the stories with Mr. White and Mr. Maddox were top notch. I mean, there's non-comparable. But the first one, Mr. Brown, like she mentioned, that one really stuck with me because the phone calls that she was getting from the family members, just expressing so much gratitude and appreciation for how, because no one would help out. They couldn't get any other lawn people to get out there and do it, or they couldn't afford it, whatever the case may have been. They just couldn't get the help. So being able to do that for them and receiving that gratitude was, and again, it's not about the gratitude, it's more just about the fact that we're helping people. That was super awesome. And being the first one and kicking it off with a bang like that, super memorable.
I think personally, it's definitely, grounded me. I definitely am super busy, have my schedule of things, and sometimes there's weeks to keep my head down, kind of get through the week. And then I realize that I'm able to do so many things that others aren't able to, whether it's physically or financially or whatnot. And just having my eyes opened a little bit to, there's maybe an older person, kind of automatically see them as someone who's slow moving and can't do a lot, but their mind is just as sharp as ever. And they have so many just memories, stories to share. And they're just always so eager to have some kind of contact, conversation, even if they're maybe a little bit nervous at first, especially during the pandemic, of really getting close or anything like that. And then once you kind of crack the shell a little bit, they just really latch onto you for sure.
That's 100% true. Yeah, because Mr. Maddox loves this one. He loves this one, which is, I can understand it. I get it.
Nice.
It adds that perspective, like the world is a whole lot bigger than my own.
We're rounding third here, so bear with me. Appreciate it.
Baseball time. Very nice.
There you go. Our organization thrives on the passion and dedication of volunteers like you. What message would you share with someone considering volunteering with us?
I would say just give it a try. Worried about maybe your skills. Am I good enough to do certain project? I think that there's opportunity for guidance, whether it's from you or other volunteers. And if you have any interest, you might as well try it. And then if it, doesn't seem to be a good fit for you, or time commitment or whatnot, I mean, it's no one's fault, if you need to step away from it. It could be something that really you love, and maybe that's the majority of the time you get to spend outside. Normally you'd be inside all day, but kind of forced to go outside and enjoy the elements, which are pleasant for the majority of the time. And so I think as long as there's some interest there, then it's a no-brainer. Just give it a try for sure.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, I agree.
Awesome.
I am excited to kind of get back into gear with the Maddox family, Jerry and Roberta, and they're really our primary clients right now. And I miss them since from the winter haven't been needed for mowing or leaf pickup or anything like that. So I definitely think about them often, and I look forward to seeing them on every week or every other week for sure. It's also about to be kitten season at the local animal shelter, and we're excited about potentially fostering some kittens too. So that's exciting.